Ever find yourself wishing you could just remember things better?
Like names.
Yeah, names. Or,
Right.
maybe pick up a new language without it taking forever.
Or how about this one, giving a presentation without needing to constantly check your notes?
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Definitely. I think we've all been there.
Well, today we are diving deep into Unlimited Memory by Kevin Horsley.
We're going to unlock the secrets to better memory.
And the best part is,
You ready for this?
please,
Horsley says that memory is a skill.
not something you're just stuck with.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not like some people are just born with good memories and the rest of us are out of luck.
So anyone can improve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With the right techniques.
I love that.
It's pretty empowering, right?
Totally. So Horsley really debunks that whole myth that some people are just like memory wizards.
He does. He explains that memory is actually a process.
A process. Yeah.
That the brain encodes information, then stores it, and then retrieves it.
Like a computer.
Kind of. But the cool thing is that, like any process, you can optimize it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. So if you're struggling with remembering things, it's not because you have a bad memory.
It's because you haven't learned the most effective ways to use it.
Exactly.
Which honestly is kind of a relief to hear.
I know, right? It takes the pressure off.
For sure. So to help us train our memories, Horsley gives us this system he calls OFA Sheet Use.
5 steps to stronger memory.
I love a good acronym.
Me too. So FOFISHA stands for Forget, Organize, Construct, Utilize, and Study.
Okay, so start by forgetting. That seems a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
I know, right? You'd think we'd be trained to remember more, not less.
Right, but hear me out.
I'm all ears.
This first step is all about being choosy with what we pay attention to.
We are bombarded with information all day long.
Like nonstop.
Exactly. And trying to remember everything would just lead to overload.
Mental chaos.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
forget is really about learning to filter out all the noise and zero in on what's truly important.
You know what I struggle with that?
What's that?
Feeling like I should be able to remember every single detail.
Oh, I feel that I think a lot of us do.
But Horsley's point about being selective really resonates with me. How do we decide what's actually worth holding on to?
That's a great question. It's all about figuring out what's valuable.
Like, how do we measure that?
You ask yourself, will remembering this actually help me achieve a goal or understand something important? If the answer's no, then it's okay to let it go.
Like decluttering your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Free up some space for the important stuff.
I like it. So once we've cleared out the clutter,
Right.
what's next?
Organize.
Of course. That makes sense.
Right. This step is all about putting things in order. So picture your brain like a filing cabinet.
Okay, I can visualize that.
Now imagine if that cabinet was a total mess. Papers everywhere. No system at all.
Sounds like my desk, actually.
Well, in that case, finding anything would be a nightmare.
You'd be digging forever.
Exactly. So organize is about arranging information in a way that makes sense.
So we can actually find it later.
Precisely. This could involve grouping things into categories, creating timelines, finding patterns and connections.
Like creating a mental map of the information.
That's a great way to put it.
So instead of trying to remember a long string of random numbers, I could try to break it down into smaller chunks.
Exactly. Or maybe you could find a pattern in those numbers.
Or even associate them with something meaningful to me.
That's the idea. The goal is to make the information more manageable and easier to retrieve.
So basically organize the chaos.
Exactly.
All right, what's next?
Now for the fun part, construct.
Ooh, this sounds interesting.
It is. This is where we really get creative.
Tell me more.
So Horsley talks about the power of visualization and association.
Oh, I love this. He's basically saying we need to transform abstract information into vivid mental images.
Precisely. And the more unusual and memorable the image, the better.
Because our brains are wired to remember things that stand out.
Exactly. It's like turning a boring shopping list into a wild story.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so if my shopping list is milk, eggs, and bread,
All right, let's hear it.
I might picture a giant carton of milk tipping over and spilling onto a mountain of eggs.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And then a loaf of bread is like tap dancing on top of the eggs.
Perfect.
Mm.
The more bizarre and outlandish, the better.
I'm going to need to work on my mental imagery skills.
Well, practice makes perfect.
True. But I already feel like this is going to make remembering things so much more fun.
That's the spirit.
So we've forgotten, organized, and constructed. Now it's time to utilize and study.
Right. It's not enough to just create these mental pictures. We have to actually put the information to work.
Use it or lose it, right?
Right? Exactly. Horsley compares memory to a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets.
So we need to flex our memory muscles.
Precisely, Utilize means finding ways to apply what we've learned in real-life situations.
Okay, so if I'm trying to learn a new language, I should actually try to speak it with someone.
Exactly, even if it's just a few words or phrases.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then study is all about reviewing the information regularly.
This reminds me of those concepts of active recall and spaced repetition.
You got it. They're not just for school. They can help us remember anything.
So we create these wacky mental images.
Yeah.
We use the information and we review it regularly.
That's the recipe for a supercharged memory.
I like it.
Yeah.
And speaking of supercharging our memory, Horsley also talks about this really cool technique called the memory palace.
Oh, yeah. The memory palace is amazing. It's been used for centuries.
Centuries.
Yeah. It's an ancient technique that really works.
So tell us how it works.
It basically uses our spatial memory, which is incredibly powerful.
Spatial memory.
Yeah. It's our ability to remember locations and the relationships between objects in space.
Oh, like how I can always find my way around my house even in the dark.
Exactly.
So how do we build a memory palace?
It starts with choosing a place you know really well, like your home.
Okay, so my house is my palace.
Exactly. And then you mentally place the information you want to remember in specific spots within your palace.
So if I wanted to remember that grocery list, milk, eggs, and bread.
Let's decorate your palace.
Okay, I could picture a bag of flour sitting on my couch.
Okay, I see it.
And then cartons of juice overflowing from the bathtub.
Oh, I love it. Keep going.
And maybe a loaf of bread hanging from the ceiling fan.
Perfect. You're getting it.
It sounds silly, but I can already tell it would be really hard to forget those images.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the memory palace. It taps into a part of our brain that's designed for remembering spatial information.
So it's like hacking our brains to remember things better.
In a way, yes.
Okay, I'm sold on the memory palace. But let's be real for a second. We live in a world of constant distractions.
True, it's hard to stay focused.
How does Horsley suggest we deal with that?
Well, he says that multitasking is one of the biggest memory killers.
So no more trying to answer emails while also writing a report and also planning dinner.
It's tempting, but it's not doing our memory any favors.
So what should we do instead?
Horsley suggests creating dedicated learning environments.
Like a quiet space where you can focus.
Exactly. Minimize distractions, put your phone away, close those extra tabs,
No more endless scrolling.
and maybe try practicing some mindfulness.
Being present in the moment.
Exactly. It helps improve focus and attention, which are crucial for memory.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
All this stuff about minimizing distractions and being mindful, it sounds a lot like self-care.
You know what? You're right. Taking care of our mental well-being also helps us improve our memory.
Mind blown.
It's all connected.
So besides all these techniques, Horsley also talks about the importance of mindset.
Oh, yeah. Mindset is huge.
He says that believing in our ability to improve actually plays a big role in whether we succeed.
Makes sense, right? If you think you have a bad memory, you're probably not going to put in as much effort.
And you're probably going to give up more easily.
Exactly. But if you believe that you can improve...
Then you're more likely to stick with it, even when it gets tough.
Precisely. You'll be more resilient.
It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't. You're right.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of memory.
I agree. It's amazing how much power we have to improve our own memory.
The key takeaway is that memory is a skill. And like any skill, we can get better at it with practice.
So no more feeling defeated by forgetfulness.
We have the tools to remember more, learn faster, and live more enriching lives.
Absolutely. Now go forth and conquer those memories.
And before you do, here's a little something to ponder.
Yeah.
If you could perfectly remember any one thing, what would it be and why?
That's a good one.
Let us know your answer. And until next time, happy remembering.
See you next time. Bye. Bye.